Hello and welcome to another installment of Comparative Reasoning. I'm your host, Cedric Kennedy, and today I'll be going over lazy slaves versus lazy survivors. Now that might be inflammatory, but if you hear me out, you're going to find out that it's probably accurate. And yes, when you have the word versus, that means there's a line in the sand. It doesn't mean you don't cross it. It don't mean if you cross it, there's a fight. It means that there is a straight up, clear-cut division between groups. And if you can erase that line, then you can bring those groups together. If you can bring those groups together, there shouldn't be a I'm right versus you're wrong, and you can spin the coin on that. No, it is obligated to be. It should be. It must be. It needs to be. Listen to each other, find the common ground, and then look around. Literally, instead of focusing on the anger that you have and seeing what's directly in front of you and thus blaming that, pause, lift your head, look around, and you'll notice one common ground that can't be denied. That you all are out there fighting amongst each other, but there's no employers, no CEOs, none of those people out there with you. You hear what I'm saying? Now, Benjamin Dixon, I was listening to his podcast yesterday, as I listen to every single one, no matter how much I may agree, disagree. His heart and his motives are in the right place all the time. You can't deny that. You may not like what he has to say, but what he has to say, two things, almost undeniable, and two, usually a long way past what I've already said and done. Everything that he said yesterday, to an extent, I have gone over for about 2 years, maybe 3. I mean, I'm ahead of the curve like a lot. You can go and check my history. I've been all over this stuff. I've already been saying it. They're just now getting to it. And it took a pandemic for them to say, when I say them, I'm talking about every single social media, independent, now news source, Young Turks, Kyle Kalinske, all the big names, all the moderate media names, all the small names trying to get up there that's acting like they're above everyone else. They're finally catching up. That's what. And you know something? Benjamin Dixon has been through a lot more than I have, I would assume, when it comes to finances of gains and losses and whatnot. But then again, going on what I've had to go through, I don't know. It might just be damn equal. It could be. In any case, let me explain this as I digress. He covered that there are people that make like, $600 a week. They got it anyway. Not a week, but a month, was it, or some crap like that? Okay, they got their $600. Some got the $1,200. It's like some got $600 a week for 2 weeks. So you get it like the first week, skip a week, the next week. It's like, yeah, you got your $1,200, and then you got those that got $300 every single week. You got those that got a single one-time payment of $600, and those that are still working, that have to get up and go to work, they're pissed off at those people. Now, I want y'all to understand, this starts at capitalism. It starts at controlling the mentality of people. If you take a child and tell that child, God is watching, Jesus loves you, Jesus will punish you, you're going to go to hell, if your friends don't believe as strongly as you do, then they are evil. If you keep teaching your child that, you draw lines in the sand like that for your child's going to believe that. You know what happens when that child grows up? They believe that. They teach someone else. They're paying negative information and everything. They're paying it forward. If you teach a child, love everyone, trust everyone, be good to everyone, and all this other stuff, you're teaching your child a lot of positive stuff, but without nuance, is dangerous to your child because your child's going to grow up trusting in everyone, especially those that are going to hurt your child. You need moderation. That's what I do. I tell her it's good to try to trust, but you got to listen and learn, because there's people out there that'll sound great, but they have the worst intentions for you because they want what they want. Are they your friend just because you got something cool? Are they your friend because someone told them to be your friend? If they hurt you and they apologize, it's because they know they've done wrong, or did someone tell them to apologize? I teach my kid to listen and learn so that you can stay away from those that are harmful and stay closer to those that are harmless. And your number one priority is to never harm anyone unless they have harmed you first. It's that what I say. You don't hurt anyone until they've hurt you first. Even then, walk away. They're not worth your time. They're not worth costing you any hardship. They've hurt you, fine. Give them the ultimate punishment. They have lost a potential friend. That's one of the worst punishments you could actually do to somebody, truthfully, because without that friend, they got no help. And that's the problem in the workplace. Every single one of these people, they think that who they work with is their friend, their buddy. They all make the same amount of money. No, they don't. They don't. In a capitalist regime, everyone makes a different level of money that makes them feel good inside, because they've been taught since they were children, make money, earn money, take care of your family. And if you don't make money, if you don't earn money, you're no good. You don't take care of your family. Oh, wait, I think I've gone over this, I don't know, 100 times already. But I need to keep doing it for people to understand it and get it into their heads. So they make them, they're taught to do this. See, people are programmed to you want to feel like you're worth something. You want to be validated. So how do you do it? You got to please your lords. You have to. You want to be validated. You want to be seen as important. You want to be seen as viable. You have to please your overlords, your lords, your kings, your queens, all of that crap. You've got to please them. So you go to work and you hope that every single one of you that goes to work, you go to work, you do your job, you come home. Here's the thing. There's always that tiny infinitesimal little piece of you that would just love to get praised by your employer. You would love to get praised, somehow seen as doing a great job by that CEO, and then get a push, a bump to get more money or higher up. That infinitesimal thing that wants to be rewarded for what you do. And sometimes they give it as in you get 5 cents on your check, 2 cents. Sometimes they'll give you an extra day off. Wow, that extra day off really recharged me for life. There's little things. Oh, well, we will give you a bonus at the end of the month if you can keep this level up. But you work so hard for the adoration. You don't think, what the hell am I doing? And that's the problem with it. You don't think, what the hell am I doing? So you work so hard to please them. And then you find yourself, when you get older and start to realize, without this job, I can't feed my family. I can't keep a roof over my head. I can't have this car. I can't do this. And then you say, when you have this thought and you have this drive to work to do this, then you say, oh, now you're mature. Now you're the adult. Now you're doing what you're supposed to do. And if you're going to suppose is an irrational obligation placed onto somebody else. You're supposed to do this. You're supposed to do that. Well, this is supposed to be there. This is supposed to be over there. This is supposed to be in that spot. These people are supposed to think like this. These people must be like this because they're supposed to. That's the rhetoric. I kid you not. You use it so colloquially, you probably don't even think about it. It just rolls off the tongue. Should, suppose, need, have to. All that it rolls off the tongue because it's so colloquial. It's ingrained. It's now been so hardwired, you can't hear yourself. You can't hear others because they're saying the same thing you're saying, so they're the same. You have to pause, think, listen. What do they say? How do they say it? Why do they say it? What are they saying it about? Ask these questions. Because you got to wake up. This is the daily job. You are at work the moment you go to sleep. And a lot of you might be like, nope, I ain't sleeping at no job. The point of you even going to sleep, it's not because you want to go to sleep. It's not that you were sleepy sometimes. Sometimes, you're going to sleep so you can get as much rest as you can so you can wake up and go to the daily grind the next day. That is the whole point of you going to sleep. You are at work the moment you honestly say, I need to go to sleep. I have to go to sleep. I gotta go to sleep. And you set your alarm if you need one. Some people just know how long they're going to be out. But you set that alarm, whether it's internal or external mechanically, you set it, you go to sleep. And you're mad if you got kids that aren't going to sleep when you need to go to sleep. You get pissed because they're interrupting your sleep so you can go where? There you go. Yeah, to work. I need my sleep. I got work to do in the morning. You best go to sleep right now. What's wrong with y'all? I done told you to go to sleep. I don't know how long ago. Long time ago. Why y'all still up? All that stuff. I heard that growing up. I heard that. So, yeah. So, you got that, and you wake up when the alarm tells you because that's your employer telling you to. That ain't you. I set my alarm for this. Yeah, you did set your alarm, but you set your alarm for who? For who? To get up to go where? Oh, you got to get showered, fed if you can. Note that you have to get showered. I mean, come on now, for real. But food is always optional. Because you just don't know if you got enough time. So you run the rat race. Shower. Food. Do you got to wake up and pee? Most likely, yes. You might have to do what? You might have to take a shit. Let's just keep it real. You just might have to do that. And that's going to be like, man, you mad because now it's eating into your time. If you got kids that's got to go to school, or you got kids that's got to be up and ready for something, or you're like, just get up. Get up. Get up. Y'all ain't want to go to sleep in the first place. Get up. All this other stuff going on before you break up out that house and take that commute to work, whether it be short, whether it be long, whether it be a walk, whether it be brisk, or whether just take some roller skates and go downhill and there you go. It don't matter. You take that commute to work. You go to work, you're there. Then what? You working. You get off work, the commute back. You get home. Now what you got to do? Unwind from work. If your work dictates that you talk loud into a mic to talk to people, you come home, you hollering. And don't even realize you're doing it. Don't even realize you're doing it. And then just to yell at people, do you have to talk a certain way? You bring that home. Now you don't sound the same. Does your job make you have to yell and say certain little nasty things at certain people? You bring that home. You can't stand those people at work. Some of them, some of them you can't stand. And some of them you're all right with. And some you're good friends with. But then you bring that home. And you have no patience to deal with your spouse or your kids or nothing like that because you've already been drained. Your job takes everything from you, give you nothing in return except now you can live another day in your home. That's it. That's what your job gives you. So then you got that. You got all that for that money, for that paper. And there's been plenty of songs, plenty of messages basically saying, why are we a slave to some paper with ink on it? But see, these are the good slaves. They get up and do this, and then they say they feel fulfilled because they get up and do it. They have to go to work. They need to go to work because, one, if they were never taught and programmed that, then how would they feel? And boomer generation, you know what they told Generation X? Well, they told Generation X, hey, Y'all are lazy. You want everything handed to you. You know what the boomers' parents told them? The same thing. Y'all lazy. Y'all got this. We ain't have this. Y'all got that. We ain't have that. The Generation X, you know what they was telling their kids, you know, in the late 80s, early 90s and whatnot? You know what they were telling them kids? Y'all lazy. You know, y'all got everything handed to you. It's right there in front of you. Yada, 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 yada. You know, your microwaves and your CDs and your yada, yada and all this other crap. Hey, you know what the generation being told today? Y'all got internet. Y'all can just download the music. You know what? We all got that. Everybody's got the same thing. It's just that the older generation is typically mad that they didn't get it. They didn't have it when they were young. And even if they did, you know what they'd be told? The same thing they telling everybody else. You know, you lazy. You got everything handed to you. When slaves were brought over here, they was called lazy. You're lazy. It's like, well, we work in the field, master. We doing the best. Shut up. And like you educated. And it's like, man, look, don't be go talking to master like that. Master get mad at you. You know, you got to mind your P's and your Q's. Ain't that what that is? I don't know, motherfucker. I can't read. I ain't supposed to. So it stems from that. And I'm glad Benjamin Dixon brought that up. You know, the whole point of slavery was just so that those people didn't have to work and you would have to. I mean, I thought that was more than obvious, but what's obvious to some is just not obvious to others. And you got to give it that. You got to see that. And that's pretty much where you get class privileges and whatnot from. And so this also brings me into what I was saying on Twitter. Sunday Secular Gen X posted a TikTok thing of people chanting. And I think the exact words was Black Lives what? Then the crowd say Black Lives Matter. And they was chanting that. Then it was hands up, don't shoot. Hands up, don't shoot. And I said it because and there's a reason behind it. So if she's listening, I hope you can understand. I'm gonna explain myself before I get into the other part of this. All right, because I think all of this is important. So what happened there was, I was like, I can't be. Now I'm gonna misquote myself, but I'm gonna stay in the realm. Hopefully, I can stay in the realm properly because I didn't pull it up to look at it. But I was like, I just can't be satisfied. I realized I can't be satisfied because, you know, these people are chanting this, but who are they trying to convince? You know, what are they going to gain? So, you know, and while I grant this is unification, this is deep unification, but at the same time, you know, what's the results? You know, something like that. And that's where I'm coming from. Like, my whole point is, I don't, chants are good. You know, a protest, standing together, that's good. But it's kind of like if you've seen that movie Lean on Me, and he was, you know, locking the school up, and he was like this, you know, and the dude came in yelling and mad, and well, not yelling and mad, but he was trying to convince him to not do it and things like that, and he was all like, you know, well, yeah, he's saying he's mad, like, you know, that black dude can't, you know, tell me what to do and all this. And he said, you know where he's saying it? Out in the parking lot. It ain't there. It ain't in front of him. It ain't in his face. And that's the problem. That's kind of what I see. Oh yeah, you're chanting and you got your stuff going and it's beautiful and it's unification. I love that. But what's the end result? What change is being forced to make sure that these Black lives matter? That it turns all lives matter from a racist thing to an actuality. You see what I'm saying? That's to anyone listening. Like Ghostbusters. His name Ray Stantz. He said, I've worked in the private sector. They want results. And that was because they're scientists where they can just dawdle all day and just incrementally get things done to seem like what they're doing is important. Where it's like the private sector where it's like, you know, retail and services. They want results. That's kind of where I am. I want results. And results is any form of clear and obvious push forward. That's what that is. And I think if you want results, if you want change, you can't simply talk about it and chant about it in kumbaya groups. You have got to make actions. You have got to push forward. You know, I can sit here with my family and we can do chants about, you know, equal wage now, women's rights now. We could do that, but who's hearing it? And if the ones hear it are the ones that can actually do that and put that change in, you know what they're saying? Do you have the money to persuade us? No. Then stay in there and waste your breath. And so you need to enact change. Do what the Black Panthers were doing. Do what or the original progressive groups did. Do what Justice Democrats at one point did. And that is seek out those that will be in power to enact the change and vote them in. Simple. Seek out those that are going to run for those areas of power that will enact those changes and not be political, not be incremental, but they want clear and obvious change, and you vote them in. And if they all are voted in all counties, districts, and stuff, from the sheriff all the way up to a Senate representative, you know what? You get that change. You'll get it because they won't take the money from these big corporations. They won't take the money from anywhere else. They will do what they have to do for the people. And they'll be the ones that also will agree with you to say, if you get paid by any corporation and you're taking that big donor money and that has any influence on you at all. Matter of fact, no, if you take money from anyone in general, while you are elected in, you can then be voted out. Or you can stay in and keep the money, but you must not accept any taxpayer money. The taxpayer money then goes back into the system to give as a bonus to taxpayers when they are in need. It could also go towards, one of these universal programs. Okay, so hopefully that cleared things up and explained my position on that. I know some changes just can't happen immediately. I get that. But push for it. Push for it. So that goes into the next phase of things, which are the lazy survivors. Because I've already talked about you lazy slaves. You know how y'all go to work and y'all ain't worth anything anyway. And as soon and like Benjamin Dixon said and covered, which is what I said ages ago, as soon as they can find a way to get somebody to do what you're doing for less, you're gone. You're gone. You're obsolete. And today's automation, so Benjamin Dixon brought that up, and if they can find anything to do where they ain't got to pay you, you're gone. It's that simple. But people will listen to him a whole lot faster than they'll listen to me. It's just that I'm not going to just tell you what you should be mad at and what's going on. I want to tell you how to possibly solve it. I want to give you solutions. That's what I want to do. And I don't want to make you pay to hear it. I want you to hear it. Yes, I do have a Patreon, but it's only for $1. I'm not asking for much, and I'm going to work on that. I don't know if anyone ever give me $1, for doing this. I don't, I'm not the others. I'm 100% real and I don't hold back. Not too much anyway. I don't hold back too much. Even my venomous rant, I was holding back. Y'all don't even know how much I was holding back. I was holding back a lot. So the lazy survivors, they're the ones that said, I'm not going to go to work. Why were they not going to go to work? No, see, the lazy slaves didn't think about that. Why are these people not going to work? They don't want to. They don't want to die. But see, the lazy slaves are like, but hey, I'm going to work. I'm working. Why do you get to have a check? Why do you get paid this money and you're doing nothing but sitting at home? That ain't right. You don't deserve any money. You got to give that money to me. Give it to everybody else. You don't deserve it. And when they speak like that, it's so colloquial, they don't understand what they're also saying. For example, that woman, she was overweight, immune compromised, was fighting off some kind of cancer or something. She had depression issues and whatnot, obviously because of her environment. Not because I'm just depressed because, no, her environment also helps that. But her parents, heavily religious, what they do? Oh, they all went to church, for a gathering. Because the church was holding it. They didn't think about their immunocompromised, cancer recovering, overweight, depressed daughter that should keep her ass inside. No, they all went out. She got, COVID-19 and she died. But they believe the Lord would heal. They believe Trump would do right. These Floridians. It's always Florida. She died. They gave her hydroxychloroquine. That should have worked. That should have just worked. You believe people, but you don't think about it, people. It's easier to trick you all into being as dumb as you can be, but it's damn next to impossible to convince you all that you have been tricked. That's just it. Oh yeah, I'll tell you what to believe because I want to make money. I'll tell you what you need to believe. But then someone else comes behind me and say, look, that's pretty much wrong and you shouldn't do that. Then all of a sudden that person becomes the enemy. Proof positive all the time. Fauci did what he had to do. Now he's coming out telling the truth and now he's the enemy. And after everything Fauci said, Trump is now doing and citing what Fauci said. And all of a sudden it's okay and it's golden and Trump's a hero. Just think about that. So you got these lazy survivors, the people that they you know what? And they tell them the whole point was you to just quit your job. You got your dream now. You can stay home and collect $600 a month. Wow. Let's just say that. And mostly it's a one-time $600 or a two-time. But these people want to live. And then you got those people that are still working at Amazon and whatnot. They didn't quit because they are the most hardened. They are the most hardened in if I don't work, I don't get paid. Benjamin Dixon brought up the guy that did the whole strike and stood up for people at Amazon. And not only at first were the people turning against him, but then Amazon fired him and got rid of him. And then the people that was working there, you know what they did? They went back to work. That dude didn't matter. And that sets the example. It sets the extreme example of, you don't, not only do you not care about somebody else's life, you don't even care about your own. Because the whole point of the strike was this: give us the materials that can help us do our job safely. Give us the gloves, give us the mask, give us the sanitizers so we can do our job safely. Because if they do their job safely and they can't spread the virus, then that means when they deliver those packages, that most likely the virus is not on those packages. That was the point. But since no one cared about him and no one cared about themselves, you know what happened? Well, a lot of you will say, well, they do. No, they don't. I know, because before then, during then, and after the strike, even up to 2 days ago and today, there's been budget trucks, LKQ trucks. There's been the Amazon vans. All of those. There's been the UPS trucks. They don't have masks. They don't have gloves. None of them do. So they're slobbering all over the packages, basically. I mean, that's hyperbole, but I mean, they're breathing, their spittle and whatnot on the packages. That's a danger to me and my family. That's a danger to you and your family. That's what that is. That's a danger. And so people that just want to live, they want to breathe the next day, because COVID-19, right now they've learned just weeks ago, is targeting the vascular system. It creates blood clots. There's a chance, because that's what happened to Michael Brooks. There's a chance that he had it, didn't know it, because maybe he got a package that had it and he touched it thinking, well, it's, it only lives for maybe 3 to 5 hours on cardboard and paper and stuff, so it should be fine. Yeah, they delivered it and you pick it up. That's not hours. That's damn near immediate. He could have had it for maybe 4 or 5 days. It created one little blood clot that went right into his throat, killed him. Nobody would have seen it coming. Nobody. It's that simple. I want y'all that should set inside. Literally, one of those delivery companies could have killed him. And his negligence to take care of himself could have killed him. And I keep saying could have because I don't know for sure. And I truthfully and honestly don't even care to dwell on that, because finding out what did it isn't going to change anyone's minds, because emotionally everybody is stuck where they are. When the truth is, these lazy slaves and these lazy survivors have so much in common. You know why? Because, as Benjamin Dixon was saying, I was like, finally, somebody other than me is saying this. It's taken them 2 years at that moment for that one. It's taken about 2 years, but they finally got there. That these, and Jank and them, they're about a year behind me, but it was like, these corporations don't care about you. They don't. They don't care. I learned this stuff when I was 17 and a half when I learned this stuff. When I worked at Food Lion, I learned that. I was like, look, this is stupid and this is wrong. And somebody's got to do something about it. And I thought about how can that be done? But everyone is so wrapped up in doing their work and impressing everyone else by doing their work as flawlessly as possible. All these roughly same-aged, kids, the elder teens, everyone is in the 11th and 12th grade. They range from 16 to 19 in terms of kids working there. So, and this was back in 91, something like that, 92. Well, hold up. For me, it would have been 90, just into roughly 93, I think. So, that was just, I didn't know what to do. Nobody's going to listen to me. I was already exceedingly unpopular in school. So I get to see from the outside, ground grunt worker level, how everyone's being treated, because they were all in their own happy group, in their clique. They're working. They're cool with each other. I was unpopular to them from school, and I got to work with these people. That was in my nightmare anyway. That was my nightmare, having to work with people that already don't like me and don't even know me. So I get to see it. I get to see them talking and having fun and doing their work. And I am pretty much pushed on the outside. And I get to see how everyone is ignored by management until something goes wrong. Then management wants to step in and say something. That's what they want. They want robots. They want drones. While I'm working, someone that I know could come up and berate me, talk trash on me, and I'm supposed to smile and be happy about it. No, management don't care that this customer comes in and harasses me and tries to destroy me. No. Hey man, you can't work out here, frowning and looking upset. That's bad for customers and stuff. Didn't give a damn about why I was frowning. None of that. What if I was that crazy dude that couldn't take no more, come in there with a gun and light everyone up? What if I was that dude? Because you didn't ask me what's wrong and then try to find a way to get that customer to not be like that. Instead of hurting the ones that's working for you, you know, well, I mean, instead of helping the ones working for you, you're going to help the ones hurting that person. That's just not right. So while everyone sits there, these lazy slaves, they work and they make their money, they make their friendships there, whether it's tentative or not. They feel good and they're so happy. But what happens when one leaves? Or what happened to her or him? They gone. And what happened? Well, I guess they gone. And I'm going to move on. Because they never mattered. Literally how the corporation views you, you view each other. And that's trained. Every one of you, the lazy slaves and the lazy survivors, have so much more in common than those corporations do with you. You literally are the fuel of the United States of America. All of you workers, you go out there, you break your back, you say you get it back at the end of the year, but you don't. And then those that have worked there like for 20 and 30 years decide, it's a pandemic. I don't want to hear me out. Hear me out. I don't want to die. I am staying home. And so your recourse is, you don't deserve the money you have worked your life for in a company that don't even care about you. That has most likely, if you get sick enough, will take a life insurance policy out on you. I can't wait to hear everyone's bullshit anger when it comes out that these companies are taking life insurance policies out on the elderly or those that got sick. I can't wait for that. I can't wait to see how people are going to be so upset and don't care at the same time. Because that is what we do. Literally being a slave. That's what we are. We are slaves, slave wage, slave labor. We're not getting paid what we should. We're not. You're not. They're not. Nobody is. I make $5 more than he do. Okay. Why you feel good about that? That's $5 better you are off financially than that person. Why isn't that person making the same amount of money as you to take care of themselves and their family? Why don't you think like that? These are important things. I think they're very important. And I think you need to acknowledge how this is going down. Yeah, this is a long one. Yes, because I really want to spell things out. I want to go one at a time and explain how this is really looking. So when you got people out there making tweets and videos saying they get to stay home and collect their money, well, colloquially thinking, you don't think about how often you say my. I mean, you're worse than the Johnny Gill song. Just my money, my job, my house, my car. I have to go get in my car to go to my job. I mean, can it be any less about you? Just when you colloquially speak, no one can get, look, I gotta find the keys, get the car, I gotta get to the job. That's how we used to talk. But now we want to own everything because we know how much we don't have, how much we will never have. The good things that we should have had ages ago that we will never see because we will never get that kind of money. We will never get that kind of access. We'll never get that level of freedom because while they can just... Hey, if you ever seen A Bronx Tale, and it's not a spoiler because that's a damn good movie. I learned so much from that movie. How do you pay the people that work for you? Talking to basically a crime boss. And he says, I pay them enough that they don't turn on me, but not so much that they go into business for themselves. He finds that fine line to keep them right in the middle where they need to be. Oh, they ain't going to be pissed with him, but they ain't got enough to go out and do the shit that they want to do and ruin him. That's that fine line. And when you live that life and people are struggling, but you keep food on the table, they ultimately band together and they come after you. Now, that's not a spoiler to the movie, because if you think it is, you'll be surprised about the end. That taught me a lot. When I saw that movie so long ago when it first came out on HBO, I saw the debut of it and I was just not just like a Bronx Tale, so I watched it. Beautiful movie. It's a straight up, it's a beautiful movie. It teaches so much. It will show you life. Everybody's life is in that movie. And it's one of those life goes on movies. I love movies like that. I suggest check it out. A Bronx Tale. It's an old movie, but it stands up today. It stands up today more than most other movies do. It's crazy how much it does. And so you got these people who were so angry. You know, so angry. Well, you need to be like, wait a minute, they're getting $600. Well, I mean, I get more than that. What can I do on $600? You're just mad that they're getting something. If they got $200 a week, you'd be mad. If they got $50 a week, you'd be mad. You can't be satisfied with them barely keeping enough money to make it. Just think about that. You're angry that they're not making less money. You're angry that they're making more than zero. If they ain't working, they should be making money. They have worked. And if they haven't worked, just like at your job, where you shouldn't tell anyone how much money you're making. You know why, don't you? You know why that rule is there, don't you? Because if they find out how much you're making, opposed to how much they're making, opposed to how much someone else is making, then you have to ask that question, why this motherfucker making more money than me? And you don't matter if it's 1 cent, 5 cent, 10 cent, it don't matter. Why this person making more money than me? Why? I'm mad at management because this ain't right. I do way more than this person. This person make more than me. That's stupid. We're going to do this. We're going to talk. We're going to have it out. Or, I mean, you say that and then you don't because you know what's going to happen. You'd be like, well, you know what? You're right. How about we take the competition away? And you're like, yeah. Then they fire you. And you're like, what? Like, yeah. See, now there's no competition. There's somebody that wants your job that's not going to complain. The job keeps you secret. The best secrets are right in front of you. And if everybody made the same amount of money and did different, and no matter how much they did or did not work, or what work they did or did not do, you know they're making the same amount of money. And you might want to shift over and be like, look, I'm making this amount of money, but I'd rather do this because either I'm not going to work this hard for the same amount of money, or I want to work in the area in this company where I just feel like my talents would be better used. Or I just have an interest in that area. So that's where I want to be. You know, that's what it could be. But those options aren't there. Now you be quiet. You don't tell them anything. And everyone goes around thinking no, y'all not equal. You know, and back in the day when I can sit next to a criminal. I mean, and he's white. And I'm going to make $5.05. He's going to make $5.25. And then in 2 days, he steal a buttload of stuff from the store. I think over like $3,000 of stuff from the store that he was working on, just taking it. I mean, and they paid him to rob him, basically. That's the end result. Paid him more than me. And, oh yeah, and I was told by my manager at the time, Mr. Holding, that they're going to pay him more because he has more work experience. That was his first job. How does he have more work experience if that's his first job? And no, he's never an intern. He's a tattooed dude that's 2 years older than me. And he looked like he need a bath. He didn't smell like it. No, he smelled clean as a whistle. You know, and I say that because there was no odor coming from him. So he just looked dirty. And he got a criminal past. But he gets paid more than me and trusted more. Slightly over $3,000 more. Your job don't like you. Your job don't respect you. Your job don't give a damn about you. But yet you go out and you defend these jobs by attacking those that want to stay home and live. When if anything, you should be in solidarity. Because if everyone quits that job makes nothing. Especially you delivery companies, those that's working for Amazon, while you sit there and you mad at people getting paid $600. Like Benjamin Dixon said, which I said back, I don't know, April or May, when I was like, people gonna be mad when people stay home and make this money while they going out to work. But they're not gonna be mad at the CEOs that's making millions and billions off of them. And they're not at work. Y'all should let that sink in. Like I say, it's easier to lie and bullshit and trick you. That's so easy. But it's damn near next to impossible to convince you that you have been lied to, bullshitted, and they're living in a world of mendacity. Because emotionally, you can't accept that you have been made a fool of. And then he said, well, what you gonna do? It still runs in the same line of, Mama, my husband's cheating on me. What do I do? Well, it's better to have a piece of man than no man at all. He's still putting food on the table, ain't he? I say you shut up, fuck him, and be quiet. Same thing. And so the answer is, the question is, what are you going to do about being cheated on, being used, and lied to? What are you going to do? Lay down and take it? Grin, bare your teeth and take it? Because that's what they want. That's what they expect. So it's up to you how this ends. Those that's making money, being at home, trying to be safe, versus those that's going to work, endangering themselves, their family, and those that are getting these packages or doing essential work. You're all a danger to somebody because you're going to work. And when those lazy survivors get pissed with you for being that danger, willfully being that danger, and yet understandably being that danger, how y'all gonna deal? That's a conundrum. Instead, here's a solution. Work together. Don't care about who makes the money and who don't. Because the enemy is the company you're working for. The enemy is anyone that says get to work during this legitimate pandemic. The enemy are the people that says your lives are not nearly worth as our money. That's the enemy. That's the enemy. So stop fighting each other and start fighting the one that's actually doing harm. You a grown ass person. You can make your own grown ass decisions. Don't demonize somebody else for making theirs. Not like that. Not like that. They want to live. Don't demonize them for trying to live and breathe another day. How wrong and incredulous could you be? Think about it. They just want to live. And yeah, some of you just need to work. You're programmed. Or it's just natural for you. You just got to work. And I get that. But your company isn't helping you be safe about it. And yet, you demonize those that are being safe. Think about that too. So what you gonna do? This has been Sidra Kennedy for Comparative Reasoning. Thank you for listening.